You probably can't see through the camera here, but some of those cows are on the wrong side. You can see some of them hiding up in behind that bush, and that little fat girl right there. A lot of them are on the wrong side of the divider fence, and they were on my list today. Just wasn't sure how soon I was going to have to put them on that list, but they have decided that they want to be in a different area. Better get busy. You'll notice I've already got the bandanas on. I don't like the sun on my neck and I sweat so much I gotta keep the sweat out of my eyes. So it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be muggy today. It's already plenty muggy first thing this morning. Baby Cap, we're trying to wean him, so he's a little anxious to get a bottle. He hasn't had one for a while, so we gotta get going on him. These turkeys, they're ready to be loose. You can see I keep them in that little cage at night. We got the poly net around them, but at nighttime they get locked up in that little cage. The predator situation around here. I raised my chickens in this, my egg layer chickens in this last year. Didn't have any issues. Within the first couple of nights of putting them out here, I lost 4 birds to a fox, and I have not really guard dogs, but I have dogs around. But they put a hurt on my chickens. So we let the turkeys get big enough. We turn them out here. Looks like they're doing all right for feed, so that's good. This blue barrel, I was watering in it, but they don't drink so well out of those little nipples. So I got to get some cups and redo that so that they don't. They keep breaking those cups off. So I got to modify that a little bit, but. We put them in this pen. We move that cage every 3 or 4 days when we see that it needs fit. So they'll be in here for, 12, 15 days. And then we'll pick up the whole situation and move it somewhere else. Surprising how much grass they actually eat. This guy, he's gotten a lot bigger over the past few months. Let's see, you were born early May sometime. So June, July. Are you 3 months old already? Pushing 3 months old? I'll have to look at the calendar. So I don't know if he's 3 months old. See, he was definitely born in May. But I can't remember exactly when he was born in May. He's only getting about 1 bottle a day, and we are graining him since he needs a little extra since he doesn't have a mama, and it's easier to grain him than it is to bottle feed him. And he's pasture. He's grazed and trampled a lot of this pasture. I need to get in here and knock some of these weeds down. It didn't take you long for that. That's about how I'll be here in a little bit when I go in for a water break. You got her, bud. You got her. Yeah, it's all empty, bud. I'll bring you some stuff. Yeah, you're looking good, Daddy. You're looking good. We're going to try to talk about Mark chapter 4, verses 3 through 8 this morning. Listen, behold, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured it. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where it did not have much soil, and immediately it sprang up, since it had no depth of soil. And when the sun rose, it was scorched, and since it had no root, it withered away. Other seed fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no grain. And other seed fell into good soil and produced grain, growing up and increasing and yielding 30-fold and 60-fold and 100-fold. This is the garden that wasn't this year. We were ready to put things in the ground, and we had gotten some things prepped, and we were looking pretty good. But it rained and rained and rained all through that period of the season, and we just didn't get it in the ground. We thought, well, we'll put it in late. But then you just get so busy. You get so busy through the summer, you just didn't get any opportunity. So this ground is ready and prepped for accepting plants, but we didn't get to it. And we broke the soil. So the soil needs breaking, whether you till it, and you saw a little shot of the tiller there. The tiller gave me fits the whole time too, because I was trying to fix a tire, and it was very, very trying circumstances to fix that tube and fix that tire in that tiller. So these trying times, this breaking of the soil, doesn't matter if you till it or if you just uh, take a spoonful out, or if you grow in wood chips, or however, you still have to break that in order for that soil to uh, allow for the seed to grow. And that's what's going on in life a lot of times. It's a breaking of the soil in order that we might grow. This is our 4th batch of chickens for the year. It's always funny when they get to this point where they can jump up on that heat lamp bar that I made. And sometimes this crossbar support they jump on, they kind of get up there, and they're 2.5 weeks old. So another few days and they'll be ready to go outside. I think we've talked about this before, but those little chicks getting inside those little feeders. There's one. I wonder if we have another. We got a bunch of guests on top of the deal. Nope, just one inside the feeders today, and they're eating more and more every day. Now, this brooder was the best decision I ever made. We used to raise them in a different situation, and then the rats found us and caused us some trouble. You need to get back in there, little chickie. Get down in there. Hey, where are you going? He's holding on for dear life. I would never have figured you to be that talented, bud. Look at him. He's holding on. Causing me trouble this morning. Talking about breaking the ground. You're breaking my spirit here a little bit. All right, and there's another one. I'm going to have to take that heat bar out, although it was supposed to get down to 70 degrees here coming soon. But I think these little guys are... Look at that guy. They're pretty lively this morning. Don't jump down in there. You get back there. There you go. There you go. Whew. Putting me through a workout. All right. Anyway, that brooder was the best thing I ever did. We used to raise them in another little pen, but they just they perform so much better here. And this is just a 4x8 wood structure here. Who knows how long it'll last? It's been a few years for us now. But the chickens just do so much better in that. And usually Dottie's out here, so we don't have worries about predators. There are rats in this barn, but I guess we've got them secured enough that we haven't had any trouble with the rats. And when they get up to this size and beyond, about every day or so, I have to put some sawdust in to keep the odor down and give them some fresh area. And they'll grow remarkably here in the next few days. And the mess will be a little more intense as they grow till we get them outside. But I'm going to have to build some more structures for outside. I'll show you what I got going on out there, because I've changed some things there too. But for these little chicks, another weekish or so, and we'll start seeing if they're ready to go outside. But they're going to grow remarkably in the next few days. These guys are amazing. It's like they've never been fed. Now they have up their appetite, and they did eat all of that yesterday. And when I checked them going to bed, they had eaten all of that by that time. So if we had time to do a time lapse, maybe I'll do that sometime. We would just see that feed just go down, 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 down as these 100 or so chicks eat that food. I don't trust them. They're going to try to jump out of here. Maybe their crops will be too full with eating, but they won't try to jump out. I need to get their water situated. And these little guys in here are American Bress chickens, derivative of a French breed. These American Bress chickens are like a heritage breed. And we've talked about the Dorito effect before and flavor. We're anxious to see how these birds do with given more time to produce actual flavor in the meat, as opposed to, um, you know, having to season it so much. Even our Cornish cross birds that grow, they grow so fast that even though our meat is better than most, it still isn't probably prime. It still probably isn't as great with nutrient content and flavor as some of these old heritage breeds are. Now, this doesn't look like much. It just looks like a bunch of grass out there in front of you. But I can tell you that that grass over there is probably 5 feet tall. It's probably taller than me. This ground, this is that sacrifice pen where I always kept the cows in the wintertime. And there are some weeds in some areas. Right here, some weedy material, but there are some grasses in the mix of that. But you can see where I planted that fescue over there on some of the hay, places where I fed the hay. It is growing back tremendously. Now, up where I'm raising the chickens, obviously the chickens are knocking it down, and we have to mow it in order to get the chicken tractors in there. And I'll talk to you about my new chicken tractors over there when we get there. But the point is that not all soil is bad soil. It's not, the soil isn't bad just because it's hard packed or been trampled on. It can be recovered, and it can be recovered quickly. This ground I've added right here where the camera sits, I've added 10 to 12 inches of soil into this ground. And I fed again this year. I fed round hay bales everywhere, and rolled hay bales out into the other field over there. But there's so much depth of soil, and the water retention on this soil is so much better. And I mean, like I said, that grass over there might be 6 feet tall because, I mean, I'm 5'9" or 5'10" whatever. But so this grass is 5 feet tall right here. Now, it's not super ideal for grazing because it gets real stemmy, and they really want these leafy parts right here. But they will come in and they will eat this and they will trample this. And there are birds everywhere. Unfortunately, you saw my crows, but there are goldfinches and sparrows and all kinds of things. This ground, my property, has rested for 120 days plus, and that is going to be really great. We're going to get the benefit of all this seed drop, and we're working on the pasture across the road to build it up to this. But we have such a variety of species. Before it got too big, I was counting different species, and I had 10 or 12 species in just a little, 2x2 block. So it's just super exciting to see all this and to see all this growth. And I really like the way the fescue. Uh, I really like the way the fescue grew, and maybe I'll put a mix together if I do any reseeding. Some people don't reseed at all. There is a seed bank in the ground, but this ground had been beat up, and I felt like I needed to repay it, so I seeded it. And out where the pigs are, I also, sowed some fescue over where the pigs are, and that performed, but not like this. Not where we had all this biological matter, this nutrient dense soil, because it wasn't hard packed anymore. We built it up, and we corrected it, and we have to apply that to our lives, the things that we encounter in our lives. I'm sure the sun is glaring right in that camera. But look at this. This grass is way over 6 feet tall. Just tremendous. Tons of leafy stuff down here. And yeah, you wouldn't typically want it to get this stemmy for grazing purposes, but this is going to add a lot of matter to the ground. When I bring them in here, and they will eat what they want to eat, and they will smash the rest down. And we're going to add more biological matter. I'm not even sure if I'm on the camera. I tried to get myself positioned. Surely I am by now, if you can even see me. I don't want to wade in it too much, but look how that's just amazing. I just love that. Now the rest of my fields aren't growing up like this fescue, and for that matter, not growing like this field because of the hay that's been fed on it. There's a lot of red top, and there's other fields that has matured. So there'll be another second growth of things coming on there. But this is just amazing. It's not that hot from the sun yet, but the humidity is out of sight. I'm already sweating profusely. I've got seeds all over me now. Today will mark 300 days of having Bell's palsy. And I looked at some videos, and I have recovered a great deal. Not totally recovered. There's still a lot of stiffness and slowness in this side of my face, in this right side of my face, and the upper part above my eyebrow doesn't work yet. So sometimes it causes my eye to close when I'm trying to read my sermons or trying to do something where I have to look down. To some kind of natural tendency to close your eye or something. It must be the way your muscles work. But that's been a little bit of a struggle. I'm speaking better than I was, considerably better than I was back in January. And that's when I started to feel some things coming back, was January. So it started in October. January, some things start to come back. End of January, some things start to come back. And here we are knocking on August, July 30th, I believe, today. We're knocking on August, and there's still some recovery. There's some synapses that are not synapses. There's some nerves that are firing off in there. So not wonderful. The breathing, I wonder if my breathing has gotten better. If it has, it's been something that I haven't noticed, but it did cause this side of my nose and this nostril to be weaker, and I couldn't breathe as well. Now maybe that's corrected itself some, but I feel like I'm probably still not getting a full breath, and maybe that's a little bit of a weight management issue too. But but really, it's on top of weight. I'm a pretty active fella. This whole Bell's palsy thing affected my nose, affected my eye. I feel like my vision has been affected. I can't read as well as I could, and especially if I have to lift it up and I have to adjust it to where it's the proper. And I just had my eyes checked right before this happened, and everything was great. So just a struggle to go through with life. There are going to be hard seasons in life. Hard ground needs preparing. Hard seasons in life are working to prepare us for a harvest, to prepare us individually for a harvest, and to prepare us to, be adequate people to sow the seed. So it's a softening of the heart. It's a developing of our being to go through these things. Bell's palsy isn't the hardest thing I'm going through right now. There are bigger issues. There are financial issues. There are other life issues that are pressing me. And at first you wonder why am I going through these things? Why am I experiencing these things? Why me? Why me? And then you start to consider that God works everything for the good of the believer. That's Romans 8:28, a little bit off of where we're going today, but it's a preparation. It may not be good to experience. Job didn't have a good time. There's a lot of things that I'm going through that I'm not having a good time. Bell's palsy, not a good time. Adapting to uh, learning to control your diet because of blood pressure and cholesterol because you've been undisciplined. That's not fun. That's not a good time. Financial issues, not a good time. Other issues that come on you, relationship issues, legal issues, things like that. Those things aren't fun. They're not a good time, but they can work to build something better. They can work to prepare that soil of the heart to do better work, to produce a better crop. And that's what I'm leaning on. That's what I'm hoping for. I once walked across the fields at Polyface with Joel Salatin during a tour, and he had just done a chicken move. He had just done a chicken demonstration. And I've built chicken tractors before, like his, and they were heavy and clunky. And since then, I've tried different styles. I've tried using where they at. I've tried using uh, PVC to make them lighter for my daughter to move around, and there's still some remnant there of using that top for that. I've tried different plans. I had a motel one time that was almost impossible to move. We had to use a four-wheeler or a car to to move it from place to place. But I wanted this polynet and shade cloth. The camera's going wild. I apologize. So I had that shade cloth up, and you've seen me. You can look back at some previous videos where I've tried to use this polynet, and I really wanted it to work. But the predators found us out, and it just become impossible to keep our birds safe. It's fun to watch the birds that way, but it's not fun to lose them every night to owls and every day to crows and ravens. So here we go. It's not exactly a Salatin chicken tractor. This is 8x12 instead of 10x12. I built it just slightly smaller so it'll fit through some of my gate openings. And I didn't have aluminum, so I had to use the metal that I had on top. And I can hold, now there aren't 50 birds in each, but by calculations, I can hold at least 50 birds in each one. And I'm going to put some wheels or develop a system to either, build that little dolly that he has or do something to help move it. I can move it okay, but the birds are a little touchy with moving it, and it's a little bit heavy. My daughter won't be able to move it. My wife wouldn't be able to move it. So forgive the sweat running down my face. It's getting ridiculously humid out here. I really wanted this to work. I really fought and tried, but at some point you got to put pride aside and say, this is not working. We have to do something else. And that's what we did. We built the chicken tractors, and this will protect them from the crows and the ravens and the owls. And I didn't quite trust the foxes yet, so I kept my poly net up around them. So I'll probably continue to do that. Keep a poly net around the areas where they're going. And still, I'd only have to move the poly net every 3 or 4 days. But this is going to make I sleep a lot better. I'm not rushing out here in the morning. I had my game cam up to try to, I don't know if we can get that on here. So, oh, there it is. You can see it right behind me right there. I had my game camera up to see if I could get evidence of who was causing me trouble. And we finally sorted it out between the foxes prowling around. He couldn't really get in there. He wouldn't come in because of the net, and the owl flying in, and the daybreak, the ravens and the crows and even the turkey vultures would be here to cause me trouble. So instead of being proud, instead of resisting, I surrendered and said, old Joel pretty much told me walking across his fields one day, and we all walk across his fields in admiration, and I've heard him speak so many times, but he said he really hadn't figured out a better way. And I know some people use the Suscovich tractors, and that's okay, but this is probably the best way. It's probably the best way for safety. It's the best way for maneuverability. The Suscovich tractors are good too. I thought about building those, but the wind here is a problem, so I figure low profile, get a little weight to them, and keep my birds alive. Keep the predator food a source at a minimum, and keep the chickens alive so that I might consume them. That sounds a little weird, but that's what we're trying to do. I'm going to eat these chickens. I don't want the fox and the owl, as much as I'm a bird watcher. I don't want the crows eating my chicken. So I put my pride away, go through that struggle. That's not the hardest struggle I've been through in my life, we just talked about, but it helped shape me. It helped shape me and deliver me to say, you know what, put that away, put that pride away, because this is going nowhere. You got to come up with a new plan to keep these birds safe that you can get them to harvest. Sometimes we view these struggles and these trials and this hard soil of life that we're going through, we sometimes think that's a punishment. And I mean, there are circumstances where indeed it may be a punishment, and we may be able to define some punishment or consequence for our action. I mean, if we eat a bad diet, we can accredit that to our bad blood condition and our bad health. If I disobey God continually, I can expect that things aren't going to go as well for me. So, yeah, there may be a component of punishment in that, but I don't think that's really the complete context. If it's the context at all, there will be punishment. There is punishment to circumstances. But I think as a believer, those things are more to soften the heart and develop us and build us. Just like with that chicken tractor deal there. I could resist. I could continue to do things the way I was and just force the issue. And I would have struggle and pain and failure. But I adapted, and now I have a much better outlook on why things are done a certain way, despite all the advice I've gotten over the years from reading books and really smart people. The same can be held true for our life. We can ignore Scripture, we can ignore God, we can ignore all the things that Jesus advised us in, and we can see the trouble that comes of that, or we can allow these things to work with us, all the struggles and all the troubles, to build this soil, to develop us into a more useful tool, into something that can produce a greater fruit. And really, a few months ago, I talked about our purpose in life. Our purpose in life is to bring glory to God. And if I'm to bring glory to God, then I want Him to mold me into the best tool possible. And that process is probably, if you think about a blacksmith, that almost looks like a violent process, a violent, artistic, loving process, because he's got to care for that piece of metal to develop it into what he wants it to be. Same is true for me or you, that God is, it probably seems violent, it probably seems unnecessary, probably seems like you're getting pounded, but He's developing, He's sculpting, He's making me useful for Him, and that's ultimately what I want. My own way leads to failure, my own way leads to trouble, But my surrender says, there's always been a better way. There's always been an instruction before me to follow. I should surrender. I should submit myself to that, follow his leading. And then probably the struggles that we're going through, not probably, definitely, the struggles that we are going through will, they may not lessen, but they'll be more bearable because we have a proper focus on him, a proper focus on serving him and not ourselves. Usually the pain and the struggle comes from our suffering in our flesh, our displeasure in how our flesh feels. What hard ground is God breaking up in your life right now? How are you either cooperating with him or refusing him in that? That should be the focus of our days. How do I get in line with God? If God is working with me, if God is doing something through me, whether I appreciate the pain or not, whether I appreciate the struggle or not. I mean, we can't control the weather. We can't control the weather, but we still have to prepare the soil. And we still plant our crops, even though I didn't plant mine. We still have to plant our crops in faith. And we work with him in faith in this manner too. He's breaking up that hard ground, that he's developing my heart for better service to him. That should be the centerpiece of our thinking. How is God working with me? How is God developing me? I'm away from the camera, so I'll use my notes here. I usually pull it up on the camera, but I'll close this with Mark 4:20, if I can read that small. Mark 4:20. But those that were sown on the good soil are the ones who hear the word and accept it and bear fruit 30-fold and 60-fold and 100-fold. I want to hear the word. I want to bear fruit. Bear fruit through developing my family. Bear fruit through developing my friends. Bear fruit through developing my community into a community that serves God, into a people that looks to do God's will and bring glory to his name. That's what I want. Despite my struggles, despite my Bell's palsy, despite these other issues that are going on in my life, and the depression that I sometimes feel, because I do. I sometimes have the black dog creep right up on me. I have to struggle against that. I have to depend on him. I have to surrender myself to him and allow him to do his work, that I can be soft and pliable and ready to be used for his will, whatever that might be. He's got something in store for me. He's got something in store for you. I just got word that a couple of the grandkids are coming this afternoon, so I've got to close this up and get on and finish the rest of the chores. I appreciate you coming with me. I appreciate your time, and I love y'all. Have a great day.